Naruto, copy everything from the Uzumaki Clan, Episode 51. In the blink of an eye, half a month has passed, and in this half-month, Xingyu has been following Agent Shinobi Asagawa Key to do D-level tasks. On this day, Tsunade finally returned, and the dust servant looked very tired. Tsunade, what mission did you go on? It actually took that long? Hashiha asked Tsunade, curiously. Go to the Land of Wind to investigate the movements of Sand Hidden Village. I'm afraid the ninja world has not been very calm recently. Tsunade said after taking a sip. There was a faint movement in the village of Sand Hidden Village, which was detected by the ninja of Konoha, and then the 3 generations of Hokage ape flew into the sun, sending Orochimaru, Tsunade, and Jiraiya to investigate the movements of the hidden village. At this time, a long time has passed since the First Ninja World War. The military strength of the major ninja villages has developed, and the forces of the martial arts faction have begun to rise. After Tsunade's investigation, the village of Tsunahide is already preparing for war, and the target is Konoha Village, the Land of Fire. Konoha Village has always been the one targeted, not only because of the strength of Konoha Village, which makes other villages fearful, but also because of the good geographical location of the Land of Fire. Compared with the fertile land, the rich country of fire, and the country of wind where Shine Village is located, it is simply the poorest place, except for the area is large enough, everything else is poor and white. Xingyu nodded when he heard this. It seems that the Second Ninja World War is coming. The Second Shinobi War was a war representing 4 countries, Konoha Village in the Land of Fire, Sand Hidden Village in the Land of Wind, Iwane Village in the Land of Earth, and Yuan Village in the Land of Rain. Among them, the Land of Rain is a small country and the battlefield of this great war. By the way, although I am back, I still don't have time to take you on a mission. Tsunade said to the 3 of them, namely Hashiba, Kushina, and Mikoto, that Tsunade now had other tasks. If the village wants to start a war, it is impossible to hide it quietly, and Konoha's side has received information, so it is natural to be prepared. And Tsunade, as Konoha's high-end combat power, must not be idle at this time, and Tsunade will go to the border with the Konoha ninja army in a few days. Oh, that's nothing, we're ready to be promoted to Zhong Shinobu. Hashiba said towards Tsunade. After becoming a Zonin, you don't need to do this kind of D-level task anymore, you can take C-level tasks, or even B-level tasks. Tsunade frowned when he heard this. Are you promoted to Naka Ninja now? To be honest, Tsunade's heart did not want Hashiyu to be promoted to Naka Shinobi at this time, because now that the war was coming, if he became Naka Shinobi, he might be sent to the battlefield. Although Tsunade has not yet experienced the cruelty of war, Tsunade knows the dangers in the battlefield. Yes, it's boring to do tasks in the village all the time, so prepare to become a Zonin and go outside the village to see. Since coming to Konoha Village, he has been staying in Konoha Village except for the last time Tsunade took them on a mission. Since you have already decided, then I will not advise you either. Tsunade thought about Hoshiyu's strength. It seemed that there was nothing for her to worry about, his strength was stronger than herself. And Xingyu decided she couldn't persuade. What is the process of the current Zonin assessment? Hashiba asked towards Tsunade. It's very simple, in the hands of an elite Naka Shinobi, if you persist for 3 minutes, you can become a Naka Ninja. Tsunade said. The current Zonin assessment is not as complicated as the future Zonin exam, it is very simple and rude, as long as you can prove that you have the strength of Zonin, you can become Zonin. Holding out for 3 minutes in the hands of an elite Naka Shinobi is enough to prove that you have the strength of Naka Shinobi. So they prepared for a day, and early the next morning, Hashiyu and they applied to become Zonin. The 3 generations of Hokage looked at the application and fell into deep thought, and the application form of Naka Shinobu, as Hokage's ape flying sun, is also to pass the purpose. Naka Shinobi is already the main combat power of a ninja village, and it is impossible for the 3 generations of Hokage not to pay attention to it. Especially Uzumaki Hashiwa, Uzumaki Kushina, and Uchiha Mikoto, 2 people from the Uzumaki family, plus a person from the Uchiha family. Can the 3 generations of Hokage not pay attention? Are you sure you want to apply to become a Chunin? The 3 generations of Hokage looked at the 3 of them with their pipes, and Hoshiyu, and they were also in Hokage's office at this time. Well, we've decided. Well, I'll arrange for you to take the assessment right away. If you can't pass the assessment, even if you are a disciple of Tsunade, you won't be able to become a Zonin. The 3 generations stamped a seal on the application form to indicate that the application was approved. Subsequently, the 3 generations of Hokage asked a ninja from the Dark Department to take Hoshiyu and them to the assessment site. In fact, the assessment place was Konoha's training ground, and the 3 elite Naka Shinobi soon came here. One of them also bears the crest of the Uchiha family, and is a member of the Uchiha family. I am the examiner of this assessment. The three of you will fight against one of the three elite shinobi. As long as you can hold out in their hands for 3 minutes, you can become a zonin. The dark ninja who came with the star feathers said coldly. It's really unpleasant that the voice is so cold, it's like we owe him money. Joshinai muttered softly. Don't pay attention to him, pretend that you haven't lost, you haven't won a fight. Xingyu lowered his voice and said to Joshinai. The ninja in the dark department, in the eyes of Xingyu, is this image, and he appears very aggressively, but he basically has not won. I'll deal with that elite Naka shinobi of the Uchiha family. Hashiba said to Kushina and Mikoto. Unexpectedly, there was also a ninja of the Uchiha family, and Hashiwa wondered if it was specially arranged by Sarutobi Hinata. In fact, Xingyu guessed correctly, this elite Naka shinobi of the Uchiha family was indeed specially arranged by the 3 generations of Hokage Ape Hibiki. The ninja of the Uchiha family is naturally stronger than ordinary ninjas, and the people of the Uchiha family will basically not lose under the same strength. Kushina and Mikoto have no opinion. The assessment is a one-on-one battle, but it is carried out at the same time, because the training ground is large enough and it is no problem to do it at the same time. Hashiha walked towards the ninja of the Uchiha family, and Kushina and Mikoto walked towards the other 2 elite shinobi. And the dark ninja with the animal mask was watching lightly from the side, looking like an outsider. This sense of voyeurism, is it the 3rd generation of Hokage? Xingyu was keenly aware that someone was peeping at him, and his brows couldn't help but frown. It must be the 3rd generation of Hokage using the telescopic technique to peek. If this kind of telescope technique is used, you need to know the chakra characteristics of the other party, and the 3 generations of Hokage are indeed not familiar with the chakra of Star Feather, but he can peek at Star Feather through the perspective of others, such as Star Feather's opponent. You actually chose me, it seems that you don't want to become a zonin. This young ninja of the Uchiha family said lightly. Don't talk nonsense, it's not good to do it directly. Hoshiyu pulled out his Kusanagi sword, and then slashed towards the elite of the Uchiha family. Knowing that the 3 generations of Hokage Ape Flying Sun Chopper were peeping, so Star Feather suppressed his own strength, and Star Feather did not want to expose his strength too much to the eyes of Ape Flying Sun Chopper. Episode 52. Oh. Xingyu slashed at the elite of the Uchiha family in front of him with the back of his knife, and the huge force made the opponent's tiger's mouth crack, and his body flew out directly. Xingyu frowned, he had suppressed so much power, he was actually so vulnerable, it was too wasteful. In the Hokage office, Ape Flying Sun Chopper showed surprise in his eyes after seeing this scene, the power was actually so powerful. However, the other party is a member of the Uzumaki family, which does not seem to be too strange. The Whirlpool family has a strong physique, strong vitality, and strong chakra, and these apes know all about Flying Sun. Using the back of the knife to attack, are you looking down on me? This Nakashin of the Uchiha family is very self-respecting, and Hashiyu's act of slashing with the back of a knife completely shattered his poor self-esteem. Oh, it's better to be looked down on than to die. Xingyu said lightly. With the sharpness of the Kusanagi sword, he could easily cut off his kunai, and if he didn't use the back of the knife, he would have been hacked to death now. This embarrassed elite of the Uchiha family, Naka shinobi, would not think about that, angrily using ninjutsu attacks. The art of fireball how? Xingyu looked at the incoming fireball, swung his knife directly, and instantly cut the fireball open, leaving himself unharmed. A knife cut open ninjutsu, it really scared the ninja in the dark part next to him. Does the sword art still have this kind of power? He has relatively little contact with knife techniques, so he does not understand it. Writing wheel eyes, open. The 2 jade chakra eyes looked at Xingyu and opened the chakra eyes, indicating that he had become completely serious. Looking at the elite Naka shinobi of the Uchiha family who opened the eyes of the 2-hooked jade writing wheel, Xingyu appeared in front of him with an instantaneous technique. Then the fist hit his abdomen, and the unparalleled force made his expression twist, and his body fell to the ground in an instant. I should have passed the test like this, right? Hashiha asked towards the dark ninja examiner. The examiner nodded, and the mask he wore could not hide the shock in his heart. In less than a minute, he actually defeated an elite middle ninja, a genius? It is not for nothing that Konoha became a genius of Naka shinobi at the age of 10, and Orochimaru became a Naka shinobi at the age of 10. And the only one who can defeat the elite shinobi at the age of 10 seems to be the adult, the head of the dark department, Kiki Shua, a ninja who can crush Orochimaru, Jiraiya, and Tsunade, and Kakashi's father. In the Hokage's office, Sarutobi was in deep thought, and according to the strength displayed by Uzumaki Star Feather, it was definitely not weaker than the special shinobi. Without the use of ninjutsu, Sarutobi Hinata could not judge how Hashiyu's ninjutsu was, but it was certain that he was a genius who could compare with Kiki Shuamao. At this time, the ape flew to the sun, and he had already given birth to the mind to recruit Xingyu and let him join the dark department. After the Battle of Hashiwa, on the other side, Kushina and Mikoto also successfully defeated their opponents. That dark ninja examiner was already shocked and didn't know how to express it. It was nothing to appear a ninja who defeated the ninja in the elite, but 3 geniuses appeared at once, and he couldn't keep calm. You guys join me on your way to the Hokage's office. The dark ninja took Hashiba and them back to Naruto's office, and then he reported the results to Sarutobi Hinata. Sarutobi Hinata was also stunned. After paying attention to the Battle of Star Feather, Sarutobi Hinata did not pay attention anymore, but he did not expect that Uzumaki Shina and Uchiha Mikoto both defeated the elite Naka Shinobu. Defeating the elite middle ninja in 3 minutes, this means that the strength must exceed the elite middle ninja, and 3 geniuses at once. The ape flying sun chopping mood cannot be calmed. I'm glad you passed the Naka Shinobi test, and I would like to ask, would you like to join the Dark Ministry? Ape Flying Sun Chopper directly sent an invitation to the 3 of them. Originally, he only wanted to give Hoshiyu to the Dark Department, but now that he knows that Kushina and Mikoto are also geniuses, Sarutobi is willing to let it go. The full name of the Dark Department is the Assassination Tactical Special Force, a place that only the most elite ninja in the village can enter. Ape Fitobi was afraid of Star Feather that they didn't understand the dark part, so he explained to Star Feather. Kushina and Mikoto really don't know much about the dark part, but Hashiha still knows a little about the dark part, and basically every ninja village has the existence of the dark part. But join the dark part, sorry, this Star Feather has never thought about it. What are the benefits of entering the dark part? With Xingyu's current strength, there is no need to go to the dark part to hone himself. Joining the dark part is very boring, and it is not free. 3rd generation Naruto-sama, I don't think I deserve to be called an elite ninja yet, and I am not qualified to join the Dark Ministry. Xingyu refused, and Gyoshina and Mikoto, who were mainly based on Xingyu, naturally refused, and if Xingyu did not enter the dark part, they were not interested in the dark part. Ape Flying Sun frowned, a little displeased in his heart, and his personal invitation was rejected, and Ape Flying Sunchop's mood was naturally not much better. Don't you think about it, it is beneficial to your strength improvement in the dark department. Ape Flying Sun Chopper was obviously still unwilling and wanted to continue to invite Xingyu. If you join the Dark Division, I can consider giving you a B-grade ninjutsu as a reward. Xingyu secretly despised in his heart, a B-grade ninjutsu, actually wanted to lure him to join the Dark Department. It was really a search. However, even if Ape Fairy Chopper takes out S-grade ninjutsu, Xingyu will definitely not be moved, and he will definitely not lack S-class ninjutsu in the future. What's more, the Ape Flying Sun Chop will definitely not be so generous. We still don't want to join any department, it's better to be free. As for the strength is not strong, we don't care at all. Xingyu looked like he couldn't get in the oil and salt. Ape Flying Sun sighed, and said nothing more. He could see that Vortex Star Feather was not interested in the dark part at all. It is useless to say more, and it is plain to lose face. Well, since you are not willing to join, then I will not force you. This is your proof of Naka Shinobi. From now on you will be a Konoha Naka Shinobi. Sarutobi Hinata gave the Naka Shinobi certificate to Hoshiyu and them. Then Hoshiyu and they left the Hokage office, and after Hoshiyu and them left, Sarutobi fell into deep thought. Although they were not drawn into the dark part, they could not be drawn over by others. Especially the rude organization of Danzo, and the Uchiha family. Uchiha Mikoto is a member of the Uchiha family, and Sarutobi feels that the Uchiha family must find a way to win her back after knowing Uchiha Mikoto's talent. No, the Uchiha family must not appear a ninja who is too talented, otherwise with the ambition of the Uchiha family, it will definitely do something that is not conducive to the development of the village in the future. Fortunately, now Uzumaki Hashiba, Uzumaki Shina, and Uchiha Mikoto are all disciples of his disciple Tsunade. If Danzo and the Uchiha family wanted to win them over, he also had a reason to stop them. The Uchiha family must not be allowed to be too strong, nor can the root organization of Tuanzo be too strong. Too strong will be out of his control, as the Hokage in the village obviously does not want the family forces in the village to appear beyond the control. Episode 53. After Hoshiyu and they went back, Tsunade was also at home, and seeing them return, Tsunade asked, "Are you done with the assessment?" "Well, I've become a Naka Shinobi now," Gyoshinai said proudly. "It's just a middle ninja, what is there to be proud of?" Tsunade said with a glance at Kushina. "The previous 3 generations of Hokage wanted to win us into the Dark Division." Hashiha glanced at Tsunade, then spoke. "You promised?" "No, entering the dark part is so boring, how can I agree? I yearn for freedom, I don't want to be a mouse hiding in the shadows." Tsunade was speechless for an instant, and actually described the dark part as a mouse hiding in the shadows. If it was heard by the ninjas in the dark part, I am afraid that all the ninjas in the dark part would come to find Hoshiyu desperately. I'm going to the border tomorrow, be careful when you go out to do the mission, especially the two of you, you must listen to Xingyu. Tsunade instructed to Kushina and Mikoto. In fact, Tsunade mainly said to Kushina, Mikoto is very obedient and cautious, and generally does not have an accident, but Kushina is different. Got it, Tsunade, you are also careful. Gyoshinai said. Tsunade glanced at Gyoshina in surprise, and thought that Gyoshina would refute her unconvinced, but he didn't expect that Gyoshina would actually say this. If there is a real war, we must be careful on the battlefield, we don't want to hear any bad news. Hoshiha also said to Tsunade. Although Tsunade is fine in the original work, after the crossing of the star feather, this world is no longer the same. Don't worry, who can stop me? I only hope that if you encounter a shadow-level ninja who rushes up, if there is danger, sell your teammates, and let the big snake pill and Jiraiya also go up, especially the big snake pill, his life is relatively hard, you can sell it casually. Hoshiha gave Tsunade an idea. Tsunade is full of black lines, this idea of selling teammates, you also give me. Don't worry, the war will not start so easily, maybe just go through the motions. Tsunade waved his hand and said. Xingyu shook his head slightly, Xingyu knew that this war would definitely start a fight, and it would not be over in a short time. Early the next morning, Tsunade left and went to the border of the Land of Fire, where Sarutobi had mobilized a total army of 3,000 ninjas. The ninjas in Konoha, if you count the upper and lower ninjas, there are more than 10,000, and the 3,000 ninjas are really already an army. Let's go take a mission and leave the village to play. Hoshiba said towards Kushina and Tsunade. Receiving the task is actually incidental, leaving the village and taking a look in the ninja world is real. When I came to the place where I picked up the task, I happened to meet them by the rope tree. Xingyu, you are coming, I thought you were not coming. Rope tree couldn't help but say, after seeing Xingyu. Rope tree, I'm afraid we won't be able to carry out missions with you in the future. Rope tree was stunned for a moment, and then asked, why? We have passed the Zonin assessment and become a Zonin, and we will not perform D-level missions in the future, so come on. Juzanai answered Rope tree's question. We graduated together, why didn't you endure Qingzhong? Rope tree couldn't help but say. Don't be discouraged by the rope tree, in fact, Konoha Shinobi is the strongest, and Shinobi fights and destroys the world. Hoshiyu patted Rope tree on the shoulder, then took the task list and began to review the mission. S-Class mission, capture S-Class Renegade Uchiha Ryota. After seeing this task, Hoshiha was stunned for a moment. Ryota Uchiha, if memory serves, this guy is the guy who has had some skirmishes with them. It is also the object of Hoshiyu's copy of the Sharingan Eye Pupil technique, and Hoshiha has copied the Sharingan Pupil power 7 times, 4 of which are copied by Ryota Uchiha. It's just that how did this guy become a traitor? And it's still an S-Class rebel. Although S-level rebels are also strong and weak, basically S-Class rebels are all quasi-shadow or shadow-level powerhouses. Sorry, this one is wrong. The ninja in charge of managing the tasks took back the list of tasks in Hoshiha's hand. These are S-Class tasks or A-level tasks, and none of them can be taken by Zonin, look at this one. The ninja who manages the release of tasks once again takes a new task list and lets Hoshiha pick the tasks. What conditions do I need to take on an S-Class task? Xingyu asked the other party. The ninja glanced at Hoshiyu, and then said, it takes at least 3 elite shinobi to team up. Okay, I'll take on this task of hunting down Konoha's rebels. Hoshiyu took on the next task of chasing down Konoha's rebel shinobi, and the other party was an elite middle shinobi, so this was a B-level mission. Are you sure you want to take on this task? Isn't that okay? Xingyu frowned, wouldn't it be that he couldn't even take the B-level task? C-level task. Xingyu looked at it, they were all some escort missions and tasks to kill thieves, and Xingyu really didn't have the slightest interest in this kind of mission. It can be, but such a mission will be dangerous, after all, the 3 of you have just become Naka Ninja. Since you can, let's go next. Xingyu said. As for the danger, Xingyu didn't think there would be any danger in chasing down the rebel ninja of the elite shinobi. The ninja in charge of distributing the task did not say anything more, and directly handed the task book to Hoshiyu. Anyway, even if something happened during the mission, it had nothing to do with him. We are still taking D-level tasks, and you are going to perform B-level tasks. The rope tree and the wave feng shui men who have not left have an envious look in their eyes. They also want to take on higher tasks, and doing D-level tasks all day is really boring to death. We're going to go on a mission, and I'll treat you to dinner when we get back. Xingyu said to the rope tree. Hoshiyu and they left Konoha. What he didn't know was that after they left Konoha, Sarutobi Hinata knew about the mission they had received. Chase and kill the rebels of the ninja strength among the elite. With the strength of the three of them, there would be no danger. Sarutobi Hinata speculated that the strength of Uzumaki Hashiba was probably particularly shinobi, and Uzumaki Shina and Uchiha Mikoto, the strength was also able to defeat the elite Naka Shinobu. The so-called special upper patience is that there is an ability to reach upper patience, but the overall strength is not as good as upper patience. Ape Flying Sun Chopper does not think that Xingyu has the strength of Shainin. After all, he has the strength of Shainin at the age of 10, which is really a bit perverted, and Ape Flying Sun Chopper does not dare to guess so. At the same time, it was not only Sarutobi who got the news, but also Shimura Danzo. Uzumaki Hashiba, Uzumaki Shina, and Mikoto Uchiha left Konoha. This is a good opportunity. I don't want another mission failure this time, understand? Danzo looked indifferently at the ninja who was half kneeling in front of him. Last time, I wanted to kill Tsunade and capture Uzumaki Hashiba, but not only did I not complete the task, but I also took my life into it. There was no result in sending to investigate, the corpse had been destroyed, where else could it be found? Tuanzong calculated this account on the head of the ape flying sun. In fact, Sarutobi Hinata was still very puzzled by Kato's disappearance, and sent someone to investigate and did not find it, and finally thought that he was assassinated by an enemy ninja. Episode 54. After leaving Konoha village, Hashiha took out the mission book, which contains some information about the rebellion. The rebel shinobi's name is Kawada Hei, and his strength is the elite Naka shinobi, who defected because he clashed with his companions and killed the other party by mistake. He has been defecting for half a year, and is suspected of going to the country of the vortex. After seeing that he was suspected of going to the country of vortexes, Xingyu couldn't help but be stunned. Jioshinai came over, and after glancing at the mission book, he was also stunned. Are we going to the land of whirlpools? Jioshinai looked up at Xingyu and asked. Yes, I don't know what the current country of vortexes looks like. Mikoto looked at Hashiha and Kushina. She knew that the country of vortex used to be the home of Hashiba and Kushina, and she also had bad memories. When I left the country of vortex, I thought I might not go back. Xingyu also doesn't have much sentimentality. If you go to the country of whirlpools, you have to take a boat. Mikoto, do you get seasick? Xingyu, I haven't made a boat, and I don't know if I get seasick. Mikoto shook her head and said. Jioshinai's face suddenly changed, and only then did Jioshinai remember that he was seasick. Can I not take a boat? Jioshinai said with a bitter face. Okay, you can choose to tread water and run to the country of whirlpools. Xingyu gave Jioshinai another method. In fact, this is not star feather, because the country of vortex is not too far from the country of fire, which works. Okay, let's run all the way to the country of whirlpools. Jioshinai clapped his hands, determined to run to the country of whirlpools, and Hoshiyu shrugged his shoulders and had no opinion. But before going to the country of whirlpools, you have to deal with the tail that follows behind. I don't want to be followed, let me get out. Xingyu's face turned cold, and said lightly. The ninja of the root organization hiding in the secret was shocked and discovered? How did he find out? Since he was discovered, he also gave up the sneak attack, and as an elite upper shinobi, he didn't need a sneak attack to deal with the three who had just become a middle shinobi. Ninja of the Dark Division? Jioshinai and Mikoto looked at each other's outfits and couldn't help but say. It's not a ninja from the Dark Division, he should be a ninja of the root organization, Danzo's subordinates, the people who attacked us last time. Hashiba said to Kushina and Mikoto. Hearing that it was Danzo's people, Kushina and Mikoto immediately sat down and prepared for battle, and from the mouths of Hashiwa and Tsunade, Kushina and Mikoto had long known that Danzo was not a good thing. How much grudge does this old guy have with me? Xingyu couldn't help but ask. He had just left the village, and as a result, the people from the Tuanzang faction came over, which is also too positive for Nima. Insult Lord Tuanzang, you deserve to die, but Lord Tuanzang has ordered, let me bring you back alive, you will watch me kill your two companions, you should be very angry when you see your companions die. What, you said you were going to kill us? Jioshinai clenched his fists and was about to make a move to let him see if he was a bully. However, before Jioshinai could make a move, he was stopped by Xingyu. Jioshinai, he is an elite superior shinobi, you are not an opponent. Xingyu said towards Jioshinai. If it is an upper ninja, Xingyu will also let Jioshinai give it a try, but the other party is an elite upper ninja, and Jioshinai is not an opponent at all. It's an elite upper patience, then forget it, I'll let you go first. Hearing that the other party was an elite shinobi, Jioshinai took a few steps back and let Xingyu solve it. Jioshinai is not worried, having seen Star Feather killing elite Sharingan like killing dogs. How can Jioshinai still be worried? Take you, experiment with my illusion. After Xingyu obtained the blood succession limit of the Kurama clan, he did not use illusion to test it, and today he just tested this elite shinobi. Tuanzo is really a good person, and he sent him an elite shinobi for free as a tool to test illusions. Glancing at the other party, he instantly pulled him into the illusion space, which was built according to Xingyu's heart. So this illusion space is somewhat eerie, and that elite shinobu has been tied to the cross. Is this an illusion? Realizing that he was tied to a cross, the elite shinobu of the Root organization did not panic, and immediately disturbed his chakra, wanting to get out of the control of the illusion. However, he was horrified to find that it was useless. He could not even perceive his chakra, as if he had become an ordinary person. It's useless, you can slowly be tortured here. Xingyu pulled out the Tai sword in his hand and regarded this elite Sharingan of the Root organization as a target for practicing sword art, and slashed at him one by one. He doesn't know how many times he was killed. Anyway, after each killing, he will be resurrected again, and then continue to be hacked to death by Xingyu. After lasting dozens of times, the other party finally couldn't bear it, and his eyes became dull and unfocused, as if he was demented. In this illusion space, all factors including time, place, quality, geographical location, etc. are dominated by Star Feather, thus giving the other party a devastating blow mentally. That's right, this illusion of Xingyu is exactly the same as the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye pupil technique moon reading, which is definitely called the strongest spiritual attack. Well, although the words that come out of the mouth are not very credible, the illusion of moon reading is indeed powerful. Of course, Hoshiyu does not have the pupil technique of moon reading. His pupil technique is respectively Huangquan Hirasaka and Tengamiai. This illusion technique, similar to moon reading, was developed by Hoshiyu after copying the Kurama family's blood succession boundary, and Hoshiyu is also called moon reading. Anyway, the ability is exactly the same as the moon reading, and Xingyu is too lazy to think of other names, so it is simply called the moon reading. After the illusion was lifted, Xingyu looked at the elite of the Root organization who had fallen to the ground and shook his head slightly. After reading it in a month, I put it down, and Xingyu has not yet experimented with the illusion of controlling the five senses. What's wrong with him? Jioshinai asked Xingyu. He hadn't fought yet, why did he suddenly fall? In the eyes of Jioshinai and Mikoto, it was actually just that Hashiha and the other looked at each other, and then the other party fell. Is it an illusion? Mikoto asked. That's right, it's illusion. Xingyu nodded. Looking at the spirit-wounded and now unconscious elite Sharingan, Xingyu did not hesitate to throw out a kunai and pierced his heart. Treat the enemy, you can't have a trace of softness, be kind to the enemy, that is, be cruel to yourself. Xingyu has always remembered this sentence. In the world of ninjas, there is never mercy. The corpse can't be left here. Xingyu thought about it, unleashed a powerful fireball technique, and burned the body. Then Hashiha, Kushina, and Mikoto left and continued on to the country of Whirlpool, and Danzo did not know at this time, he lost another elite shinobu. In other words, there are not many elite shinobi in the hands of Tuanzo, counting Kato's broken words. Now that he has died in the hands of Xingyu for 4, will Tuanzo cry? Perhaps after this time, Danzo should not send ninjas to deal with him again. The loss was already so great. Before the investigation was clear, Tuanzong would definitely not dare to attack Xingyu again. Elite Sharingan is not a cabbage, and if you want to cultivate an elite Sharingan, it takes too long, and Tuanzang can't afford to lose. Episode 55. After 2 days of hurrying, Xingyu and they finally arrived in the country of vortexes. This place is the land of whirlpools? Mikoto's eyes were filled with surprise. Why didn't anyone see it? And at most, she could see dilapidated houses around. This place is the land of whirlpools, and it looks a little dilapidated, right? Xingyu looked around, and then said, actually, the country of whirlpools was not like this before. This is a country with beautiful scenery, but after the destruction of the Whirlpool clan, the country of whirlpools did not exist. The people of the Vortex country, after the Uzumaki clan was extinguished, left this small island country, and the so-called Vortex country no longer exists. The country of whirlpools is so big, who knows where that traitor is hiding? How can we find it? Jioshinai asked towards Hoshiyu. The country of whirlpool says that big is not big, but it is definitely not small to say small, and it is really difficult to find a person. Jioshinai, have you forgotten that I have the Kagura heart eye? Xingyu reminded Jioshinai. If you are looking for an ordinary person, I am afraid that it will be difficult to find Hashiba, but it is too easy to find a ninja. Within a radius of tens of kilometers, the star feathers can be probed, and as long as they have chakra, they cannot escape the detection of the star feathers. After some probing by Xingyu, he finally sensed chakra, but the location made Xingyu a little strange. Haven't found it yet? Jiao asked towards Xingyu. I found it, but the location where the other party is located is actually our former home. Jiao was also stunned for a moment, and Mikoto's eyes had a hint of curiosity. Hashiyu their former home? Let's go, let's go. Hashiha took Kushina and Mikoto and rushed over immediately. Is this where you used to live? Mikoto asked curiously towards Kushina. Well, this house is still ours, but I didn't expect it to be preempted now. Jiao was a little angry. Although it has been abandoned, it is also a former home, and it is occupied by others. You scoundrel who grabbed someone else's house gave me out. Jiao shouted loudly. The rebel ninja Kawadahi, who was originally staying in the house, came out of it and wore a Konoha brace, but there was a scratch on the forehead, indicating that he was Konoha's rebel. In fact, Xingyu was a little confused. Why did those traitors still carry the former forehead protection? Is it to show others which village is the rebel? Who are you? Kawada Ping looked at Xingyu and the three of them frowned. He had been here for a long time, and it was the first time he saw outsiders. Konoha rebel shinobi Kawada, hey, right? We are ninjas here to hunt you down. When Kawada heard this, he couldn't help but laugh. Konoha, is this nobody? I actually sent you 3 imps over. Kawada said disdainfully. Look down on us, Xingyu, don't make a move, I'll deal with him. Jiao said very unpleasantly. Xingyu nodded. In fact, there is no need for Jiao and Mikoto to say, Star Feather will not make a move, this time to take this task. In fact, the main thing is to exercise Jiao and Mikoto. Kushina, Mikoto, you two deal with him. Xingyu said to the two of them. Wherever Mikoto is needed, I can defeat him myself. Jiao used the King Kong blockade, and several chakra chains instantly stretched out behind his back, whipping towards Kawada like a whip. The sharp sound of breaking the air made Kawada Ping's pupils shrink, and he instantly took a few steps back to avoid Jiao attack. It's not so easy to dodge. The chakra chain is manipulated by Kushina and begins to hunt down Kawada Ping. Mikoto opened the Nigatama Sharingan, and Kawada Ping's movements were clearly seen by Mikoto, and quickly took out a few shurikens from the ninja bag and threw them towards Kawada Hira. Several shurikens blocked the direction in which Kawada dodged, causing Kawada face to change suddenly. If he tries to dodge the attack of Chakra's chain, he will be hit by a shuriken, and the point is that now he is too late to use the avatar technique. Mikoto grabbed the opportunity well, and Hashiha couldn't help but want to praise Mikoto. Mikoto and Kushina work well together. Xingyu said with a smile. Damn, 2 little girls actually forced me into this situation. On Kawada-hira's arm, a shuriken was inserted, and bright red blood dripped down his arm to the ground, dyeing the ground with a layer of color. Weighing the pros and cons, Kawada chose to block a shuriken with his arm to avoid the chakra chain controlled by Kushina. Jiao, you continue to attack, don't give him a chance to unleash ninjutsu. Mikoto said to Kushina. Ninjutsu requires sealing, and as long as you don't have time to seal, you can't release ninjutsu. Jiao nodded, seeing that the other party wanted to seal and use ninjutsu, he immediately controlled the chakra chain to interrupt. The intelligence is wrong, this Kawada Ping's strength should exceed the elite middle shinobi, and the speed is not weaker than the upper shinobi. Hashiha looked at Kawada and said to himself. If Kawada is only an elite shinobi, he will definitely not be able to easily evade Jiao King Kong blockade. Fire escape dragon fire art. Mikoto seized the opportunity and Yuki released a straight line of flame towards Kawada Ping. Although the dragon fire art is only a sea-level fire ninjutsu, it can still kill when hit on the body. After all, the human body is too fragile. This flame can penetrate a large tree, and there is naturally no problem in burning through the human body. Kushina's chakra chain is also surrounding Kawada in all directions, leaving him with no way to escape and can only withstand Mikoto's ninjutsu attacks. A few imps want to kill me, water escape, water chaos. Forced into a corner, Kawada desperately seals and uses water ninjutsu to block Mikoto's fire. However, the moment he blocked Mikoto's fire's attack, Jiao chakra chain bound Kawada and tied him to death. Desperate, Kawada is already a dead end. Even if he avoids being burned through his body by fire, he can't avoid Jiao chakra chain. As a ninjutsu-type ninja, of course, he does not have the strength to break free from the control of Chakra's chains, and the King Kong blockade can even control the tailed beast, let alone a person. I didn't expect that I would be planted in the hands of 2 little girls. Kawada was very unwilling. There are many things you didn't expect. You dared to look down on us before, now you still dare. Jiao snorted softly and said. You kill me, at most get some task reward. It's better to let me go. If you release me, I can give you my ninjutsu and the money on me. Kawada Ping's eyes flickered and said to Hashiyu. Think about it, is ninjutsu measurable with money? Kushina and Mikoto looked at Hashiba, whether to kill Kawada Hei or not, or leave it to Hashiha to decide. Kill it. Hashiha glanced at Kawada Hei and then said. With him, what ninjutsu can he come up with to make Xingyu look at it? Mikoto lost his heart and ended the life of Hei Kawada, a traitor, and their mission to hunt down and kill the rebel was completed. However, the task was completed, and Xingyu did not plan to go back now, and of course he did not plan to go back so soon when he came out. Episode 56, The rebel shinobi Kawada Hei is dead, shall we go back? Mikoto asked to Hashiha. Xingyu, let's not go back first, shall we have fun outside? Jio-shinai took Xingyu's hand and said coquettishly to Xingyu. Call brother, I'll promise you. Xingyu looked at Jio-shinai with a smile. Damn, obviously I'm older than you, you should call me sister, I don't call it. Jio-shinai turned his head and said angrily. Jio-shinai, you said you were older than Xingyu? Mikoto looked at Kushina in amazement, she really didn't see it at all. Of course, I was born 3 days before him. Jio-shinai said proudly. I don't know what you can be proud of. Xingyu knocked on the top of Jio-shinai's head, making Jio-shinai couldn't help but exclaim in pain. After his gaze skimmed Jio-shinai's resentful gaze, Hoshiyu quickly changed the topic and said, let's not go back to Konoha village for the time being, you promised? Jio-shinai instantly felt that the place where he was knocked did not hurt, and happily held Xingyu's arm. We head to the land of water. Hoshiyu looked in the direction of the land of water. Land of water? What to do there? Kushina asked, along with Mikoto. The extermination event of the Vortex clan, it can be determined that the Fog Ninja must have participated, so go to the Fog Hidden Village to collect some interest. Just let's go, won't it be too dangerous? Mikoto asked with some concern. Don't worry, I have a sense of proportion, and there will be absolutely no danger. Xingyu said with a slight smile, now this ninja world, even Uchiha Madara can't pose a threat to him, can't beat him and can run. Leaving the land of whirlpools, Hoshi Feather returns to the land of fire again, and then takes a boat from the land of fire to the land of water. I still can't escape the fate of taking a boat. Jio-shinai said depressedly. Jio-shinai, although you got seasick last time, it doesn't mean that you will still get seasick now. Don't you think you don't feel a little uncomfortable now? Xingyu said towards Jio-shinai. After more than a day of boat ride, Hashiyu and they came to a small island in the land of water, which was not the main island of the land of water, but a small island around the main island. This time Kushina did not feel seasickness, and Mikoto did not feel either. Jio-shinai, Mikoto, I have scouted this island, it is very safe, you should stay here for the time being. Xingyu said to the two women. Xingyu had already told them before that he wanted to sneak into the Misty Hidden Village and go to the Misty Hidden Village, and Xingyu did not plan to take Jio-shina and Mikoto with him. There is indeed no problem with his strength to protect himself, but it is too difficult for him to break into the Mist Hidden Village with Jio-shina and Mikoto. I know we're going to hold you back, so I won't follow you, but you must come back within 3 days, or we will go to you. Jio-shinai said seriously towards Xingyu. Jio-shinai did not clamor to go with Xingyu, she knew that if she couldn't help, she would delay her legs, but Jio-shinai also agreed on a time with Xingyu. If Xingyu does not come back within 3 days, with Jio-shinai's character, he will really kill to find Xingyu in Mist Hidden Village. Xingyu, be careful. Mikoto said to Hashiha. Don't worry, you can't run, with spatial ninjutsu, no one can keep me. Xingyu said. Dare to break into a big ninja village, Xingyu of course has a reliance. The Fog Hidden Village at this time is not a Fog Hidden Village that has experienced the Blood Mist era and weakened to the extreme, and the Fog Hidden Village at this time is still very strong. Although Xingyu's strength is not weak, he does not have the strength to fight a big ninja village alone, and only the strength of Uchiha and Senjukuma can defeat the village with one. In less than half an hour, Xingyu came to the main island, and after a little inquiry, he knew the location of Wuin Village. Kill a ninja from the Mist Hidden Village, and then Xingyu uses the transformation technique to transform into the appearance of the Mist Shinobi who was killed by him, and walks directly into the Mist Hidden Village. The ninja guarding the door of the Mist Hidden Village could not see through Hoshiyu's transformation technique at all. The current Water Shadow is the 3rd generation of Water Shadow, I don't know what his strength is. Xingyu sat in a noodle restaurant, thinking to himself. There is very little information about the 3rd generation of Water Shadow, and Xingyu doesn't even know what abilities he has, but it is certain that the 3rd generation Water Shadow is definitely not strong. If the strength is strong, it will not be controlled by the old Uchiha spot. Although it is not specified, Hashi had guessed that the 3 generations of Water Shadow during the 3 Wars period must have been controlled by Uchiha, but I don't know if it is controlled in this period. I ate a bowl of ramen from Mizunoku, and it tasted good. Xingyu came to Wuyin village this time, but he had many purposes, one of which was the blood succession limit of Wuyin village. The Kagaya clan of Wuyin village has the bone blood succession boundary, and it is suspected that it is a race that has some kind of connection with Dadamu Kagaya. Perhaps the bone vein is born from the blood succession limit of the common killing of ashes. This is just speculation, no one can confirm it, but this issue is not important. Xingyu did not think about copying the corpse bone vein. There are 2 reasons. One is the blood succession disease of the corpse bone vein. Although Xingyu has a perfect immortal body, in theory, he should not be afraid, but Xingyu does not want to try this theory. The second is that the corpse bone vein is not owned by everyone in the Kagaya family, and perhaps now the Kagaya family does not have a awakened corpse bone vein. Xingyu wanted the ice escape of the Shui Wuyue family. In addition, there is another purpose, that is, the Book of Seals of the Mist Hidden Village, which records the ninjutsu of the Mist Hidden Village. First copy the ice escape, followed by the Book of Seals in Wuyin village. Something as important as the Book of Seals must be difficult to obtain, and Xingyu did not have much expectations. After hypnotizing several ninjas using the Sharingan, he learned from their mouths the clan land of the Mizuki family. Then Xingyu went towards the Shui Wuyue family and sneaked into the Shui Wuyue family, and Xingyu quietly copied from a ninja with an ice escape to the ice escape. Shui Wuyue family, not everyone has awakened the ice escape blood succession limit, and Xingyu has also wasted a lot of time in order to copy the ice escape blood succession limit. A premium copy card was consumed, and now Hoshiyu has the last premium copy card left unused, as well as a normal copy card. Although it was copied to the ice escape blood succession limit, Star Feather did not know ice escape ninjutsu, and in order not to fight the grass and snakes, Star Feather did not look for ice escape ninjutsu in the Shui Wuyue family. It doesn't matter about this. Xingyu believes that with his own vision, the ice ninjutsu he created is much stronger than the ice ninjutsu of the Shui Wuyue family. Come to a small forest in Wuyin village and slowly wait for the sky to darken. The copy of the ice escape has been completed, and if you steal the Book of Seals, it would be too swaggering to go out during the day, and Xingyu was ready to wait until the early hours of the morning before acting. In the world of Naruto, late at night is not actually the best time to act, and at night, ninjas will be more vigilant. And in the early hours of the morning, when dawn is approaching, it is the time when their vigilance is lowest, and this is also the best time to act. So Xingyu prepared to wait for the early morning to come. Leaning against a large tree, Star Feather began to close his eyes and refine chakra. Not only refining chakra, Hoshiyu also opened Kagura's heart eye to explore the situation in Mist Hidden Village. Episode 57. At 4 o'clock in the morning, Xingyu opened his eyes, used the transformation technique to transform into an adult, and then took out a mask with a 3-hook jade reincarnation eye and put it on. This mask is actually the same mask that Uchiha Obito wore in the 4th Ninja World War. Stealing the Book of Seals of the Mist Hidden Village definitely can't use his true figure and face, because no matter whether he succeeds or fails, he will be wanted by the Mist Hidden Village. Once you spied on the sealing technique of the Uzumaki clan, today it is my turn to spy on the ninjutsu of your Mist Hidden Village. Xingyu smiled coldly, and his figure completely blended into the night. After 4 o'clock in the morning, when the night was still very thick, the figure of Xingyu flickered, approaching the Water Shadow building. What people? As soon as Xingyu entered the Water Shadow building, he was discovered by someone, and his face also showed a touch of helplessness. Although Xingyu's strength is strength, and he is still a newcomer in terms of infiltration. It's okay to sneak into the misty hidden village, but sneak into the heavily guarded Water Shadow building, then you can't dodge, and you are still discovered. Guys, I said I was just here to hang out, do you believe it? Hashiha asked as he walked towards the dark ninja who surrounded him. The dark ninja of Kirihide village dresses differently from the dark ninja of Konoha, but the difference is not particularly big, and he also wears a mask to hide his identity. A group of misty ninja shadows looked at Xingyu murderously. You can see that you are here to do bad things at a glance, and you also come here to take a stroll, believe you are a ghost. Especially when they saw the mask Xingyu was wearing, the anger in their eyes was even stronger. Everyone was wearing masks, why are the masks you wear so handsome? Excuse me, leave. Saying that, Xingyu used the teleportation technique to escape, and after seeing Xingyu escape, those ninjas in the dark department immediately went to chase. After they all left, Xingyu and the shadows came out. A bunch of idiots, a shadow doppelganger, tricked you out. That's right, the one who fled just now was not the real Star Feather, and after being discovered, Star Feather quickly used the avatar technique to replace it with the shadow avatar that had been cast long ago. Because Xingyu's speed was too fast, they didn't notice it at all. Xingyu quickly walked towards the water shadow office. Such an important thing must have been placed in the water shadow office. Using Kagura's hard eye to probe, there was no one in Mizuki's office, and the third generation of Mizuki was not in the office. After all, the 3 generations of water shadow also have to rest, and it is impossible for him to live in an office, plus there has never been an incident of sneaking into the water shadow building, so the precautions are not as strict as Xingyu imagined. Illusion Mirror Flower Water Moon. This illusion is actually the blood succession limit of the Kurama clan, the illusion that dominates the 5 senses, and Xingyu gave a name, Kagami Shueiyu. Although he can only dominate the other party's 5 senses for a short time, it is not as hypnotic as Lan Ranyojia's slashing knife Mirror Flower Shueiyu, but Xingyu thinks that the Mirror Flower Shueiyu is very good, so he took this name. Although the magic Mirror Hua Shueiyu cannot be compared with Lan Dai's slashing knife in terms of ability, it also has an advantage. You don't need others to see Xingyu perform magic, and Star Feather can dominate other people's 5 senses. After using the magic Mirror Flower Water Moon, Hoshi Feather directly swaggered the door to enter, and those ninjas hidden around Mizuki's office seemed to not see Hoshi. The 5 senses dominate, what they see and hear, all is what Xingyu wants them to see and hear. Therefore, if you fall into this illusion, you can only be at the mercy of Xingyu, and you don't even know how to die. I don't know why the Kurama family has such a terrifying blood succession limit, and why it has become a small clan. In fact, the Kurama family can't do the same as Star Feather. First of all, their mental power is not as good as Star Feather, and chakra is even rarer. The more powerful the technique, the greater the consumption. They can't afford to consume chakra, such as Kurama Wind, that is, the only blood succession limit ninja in the Kurama family at this time. He even struggles to dominate the 5 senses of an upper ninja. Xingyu began to rummage in the office. I really don't know where the Book of Seals was placed. Xingyu almost overturned the office, but he didn't find it. Shouldn't it be here? Xingyu's brows furrowed. Xingyu was unwilling, continued to search, and finally let Xingyu find a dark compartment, and found the Book of Seals of Mist Hidden Village from inside. A huge scroll with the Book of Seals written on it must be the Book of Seals of the Misty Hidden Village. There was also a sealing scroll next to it, and Xingyu also picked it up, something that could be placed with the Book of Seals. Needless to say, it was definitely a good thing. As soon as Hoshi put away the Book of Seals and the sealing scroll, a group of ninjas from the Dark Division came back. Yo, you're back. Xingyu reached out and greeted them amicably. Bastard, the one who ran out before is your shadow doppelganger, right? The dark ninja at the head roared. They didn't catch up with Xingyu's shadow doppelganger, but they found out that something was wrong and knew that they and the others might have been tricked by the tiger leaving the mountain, so they hurried back. They weren't stupid, but unfortunately it was too late to find out, and Xingyu had already found the Book of Seals. At this time, the 3 generations of Mizuki also arrived here, and something so big happened, there must be a ninja to inform him. Entering the Mizuki office, seeing the dark compartment that was opened, the face of the 3 generations of Mizuki changed suddenly, and the other ninjas didn't know what was inside the dark compartment. Could he still not know? Where's the Book of Seals? Hurry up and hand over the Book of Seals. The 3 generations of water shadows stared at Xingyu tightly. Do you think you can still take back what I have in my hand? Xingyu looked at the 3 generations of water shadows with the gaze of a fool. Who the hell are you? The 3 generations of water shadow did not make a move, but asked about the origin of Xingyu, and dared to come to Wuyin village to steal the Book of Seals, and the other party was very bold. And now facing him and the ninja in the dark part, he still looks relaxed, either a fool or has a whole card. Who am I? Xingyu suddenly smiled, and then said in a deep voice, my name is Uchiha Madara. Hashi had changed his voice, and it was really similar to Uchiha's voice. The 3rd generation of Shueing was stunned for a moment, and then his face sank, and he looked at Xingyu coldly. You trick me, do you think I'm a liar? Everyone knows that Uchiha has died, and there is a big battle with Senjujukuma in the Ant Valley, and he is finally killed by Senjukuma. And Senjuju was also severely damaged in that battle, and finally died of his injuries. It was precisely because of the death of Senjukuma and Uchiha Madara that the First Ninja World War began, and if one of Senjukuma and Uchiha Madara was still alive, absolutely no one would dare to start a war. Why should I lie to you, Junior? A kaleidoscope of chakra eyes appeared in Xingyu's eyes, and the astonishing momentum oppressed these 3 generations of water shadows. Affected by the momentum, the body of the 3rd generation of water shadow took several steps back, looking at Xingyu's kaleidoscopic chakra eyes in horror. Kaleidoscope Sharingan. Even if you are not from Konoha village, you also know about the Kaleidoscope Sharingan, which is the ultimate pupil technique of Uchiha Baba to the ninja world. There are really very few people who know about the eternal kaleidoscope, and they all think that Uchiha's riding wheel eye is a kaleidoscope riding wheel eye, and they do not know that it is the eternal kaleidoscope riding wheel eye. Episode 58. In the Water Shadow office, Xingyu looked at the 3 generations of Water Shadow with indifferent eyes, while the 3 generations of Water Shadow and Mist Shinobu did not move. Mistron looked at Xingyu in amazement, and then looked at the 3 generations of Water Shadows, waiting for the 3 generations of Water Shadows to make an idea. Who are you, actually impersonating Uchiha Madara? Do you think I don't know that Uchiha Madara has been killed by the original Hokage in the Valley of the End? The eyes of the 3 generations of Shueing became more and more cold. Humph. Xingyu snorted coldly, for the questioning of the 3 generations of Water Shadows, there was no need to explain at all. The more explanations, the more flaws. In fact, after getting the Book of Seals, Xingyu can get out safely now, but without leaving a deep impression on the other party, how can he prove that he has been here? This time the attack was also to avenge the Vortex family. Susanoo. The black evil chakra condensed around the star feather, and the arms and ribs formed by chakra appeared, and then turned into a skeleton. The change was not over yet, and then the skeleton was covered with meridians and flesh and blood, wrapped in a chakra, and finally appeared on the outside, and a dark martial god with a height of 50 meters appeared, wearing a slender tie sword around his waist. Hoshihado Susanoo is black, like the pitch-black Amaterasu black flame, like a demon god from hell, shocking the heart. The only thing that is a pity is that this Susanoo only has the upper body, and only after opening the eternal kaleidoscope Sharingan eye can he cast the Susanoo with legs. Kaleidoscope Sharingan, it is difficult to use the full-body Susanoo, and it seems that only Kakashi used it in the original book during the 4 wars. However, Kakashi was able to use it, that is, he accepted the chakra with soil, and at that time, the chakra with soil still had the power of the 6 paths, and after inheriting the power of the 6 paths, Kakashi used it. The Susanoo that Xingyu uses now is obviously impossible to have legs, but the first time he used the strongest Susanoo that the kaleidoscope chakra I could use, and Xingyu was also a genius. The main thing is that Xingyu's pupil power is strong enough, and chakra is enough, so he can directly use the mature Susanoo. After Hashiha used his Susanoo, the Water Shadow building ceased to exist and turned into ruins. The 3 generations of Water Shadows were also blasted out by the chakra that broke out, and some of the weaker dark ninjas were directly bombarded to death. Looking at Susanoo, who was 50 meters tall and exuded an evil aura, the 3 generations of Water Shadows were shocked in their hearts. It's like facing a tailed beast. No, it's facing a monster that is more powerful than the tailed beast. At this moment, the 3 generations of Water Shadow really believed that Xingyu was Uchiha. The reason is that the 3 generations of Mizukage have not seen Uchiha spots, and they don't know that Susanoo of Uchiha is blue, and Susanoo of Star Feather is black. If I didn't have an artifact, can my Susa be so wasted? Xingyu himself complained that his Susanoo was only equipped with a Taidao, but this Taidao did not have any special powers. Looking at the 3 generations of Shueing and the others in the distance, Xingyu smiled coldly, wearing a mask. They couldn't see the cold smile on Xingyu's face, but they could feel the danger. The 3rd generation of Water Shadow Gu could not remind others, and quickly used the teleportation technique to leave. As soon as the 3rd generation of Mizukage left, Susanoo's huge fist fell, and a dozen ninjas standing together were smashed to death with a punch. Even if they were not smashed to death, they were also injured by this punch, and the storm brought by the fist was not something they could resist. It's worthy of Susanoo, this destructive power is really strong. Hashiha was very satisfied with Susanoo's destructive power. Damn, the art of the great waterfall. The 3 generations of Water Shadows looked at the dozen ninjas who were smashed to death in an instant, and their hearts were furious, and there were many of them who had upper ninja. Sharingan is already an elite for a village, but being killed by a punch to death several 3 generations of Water Shadows if they do not express anything, it is too much to say. The art of the Great Waterfall is an A-class ninjutsu that uses chakra to roll a large amount of water into the air tens of meters and involve the opponent like a wave, and the power of this ninjutsu is comparable to that of natural disasters. However, after this ninjutsu hit Susanoo's body, it had no effect at all, and he directly ignored it. Even this move of the 3rd generation of Water Shadow also washed away some houses in Wuin village. Other ninjas also threw ninja attacks such as kunai, detonation charms, and shurikens, but this attack could not break Susanoo's defenses at all. Susanoo's defense is one of the best among all the defensive ninjutsu in the ninja world, and compared to defense, Susanoo's destructive power is the strongest. Slowly withdrawing the Tai saber at his waist, seeing Susanoo's movements, the 3 generations of Water Shadows immediately became alert and roared, "Defense!" This kind of behemoth, a casual punch can cause unimaginable destructive power, and after pulling out the knife, how much destructive power can be caused, the 3 generations of Water Shadow really can't imagine. Water Array Wall, ninjas who arrived one after another, plus 3 generations of Water Shadow to cast Water Array Wall defense together. Does this work? Hoshi Feather manipulated Susanoo and pulled out the Tai Dao, which was also black. Chop. The black sword light fell, the Water Array Wall was directly cut open, and the ninjas who were in a straight line with the sword were all killed, and the rest of the ninjas were also blown out by the storm. I like that feeling. Xingyu looked at the Water Array Wall that was cut open like a decay, and said softly, this kind of power that crushes everything, Xingyu really likes it. A long crack was cut through the ground, spreading out a long distance, and some ninjas accidentally fell into it and broke their limbs. Xingyu's knife, there are dozens of ninjas killed, not that they don't want to hide, but the knife is too fast, and they can't dodge at all. For ordinary ninjas, Susanoo is a big killer, their attacks cannot break through Susanoo's defenses, but Susanoo can cause unimaginable losses with a single sword. You stop me, whether you are Uchiha or not, as the Water Shadow of the Mist-Hidden Village, I will definitely not allow you to spread wild in the village. The 3rd generation of Mizukage looked at Susanoo, did not choose to retreat, and rushed towards Susanoo. Hoshi calmly looked at the attack of the 3 generations of Water Shadows, and let the 3 generations of Water Shadows attack, he simply could not break Susanoo's defense. If you want to break through Susanoo's defenses, you must have ninjutsu that is powerful enough, and obviously the 3 generations of Mizukage do not have ninjutsu that is powerful enough to break Susanoo's defenses. Ignoring the 3 generations of Water Shadows, Hoshiha looked at those ordinary ninjas. There is no point in making a move on the 3 generations of Water Shadows, as a shadow, it is difficult to kill him in a short time. Don't look at the 3 generations of Water Shadows, but it is not so easy to kill the 3 generations of Water Shadows. Xingyu can't stay in Mistine Village for too long, otherwise after a while, the human pillar force, and other ninjas in Mistine Village come, and Xingyu will not be able to take advantage. Now taking advantage of those strong people who have not yet arrived, take advantage of a little and leave, his current strength has not yet reached the point where one person singles out a big ninja village. If the ninjas of the Mist-Hidden Village gather, even Susanoo will be broken, after all, the current Susanoo is not complete. Ignoring the 3 generations of Water Shadows, Susanoo's sword slashed down at other ninjas, taking at least a few, or even a dozen, life with one sword, just like the god of death who harvested life. Episode 59. A huge roar resounded throughout the Mist-Hidden Village, and those civilians were evacuated by the ninja and went to take refuge. The powerful ninja quickly gathered in the direction of the original Water Shadow building, looking at the tall Susanoo, gritting his teeth with hatred. The ninja of the Kagaya family, rush him. The patriarch of the Kagaya family rushed to the front, followed by a group of madmen of the Kagaya family, who were all a group of battle maniacs. Gee, there are more and more ninjas gathered. Hoshiyu looked at the cracks that appeared on Susanoo's armor, and there was nothing worried. Sure enough, the ants bit the dead elephant and attacked one after another, and even Susanoo couldn't hold on. Looking at the widening rift, Hoshi Feather quickly repaired it with chakra. Originally, they were a little cheerful when they saw that Susanoo had been cracked, but when they saw that Susanoo's rift had been repaired in the blink of an eye, their hearts flooded with despair. As if sensing the despair in their hearts, the 3 generations of Mizukage shouted, hold on, he must have consumption for this Susanoo, and we will consume him. The 3 generations of Mizukage are right, Susanoo is very destructive, but the consumption is just as large. If it is just the consumption of simple chakra, Star Feather can afford it, but in addition to chakra, there is also the consumption of pupil power. The pupil power of the kaleidoscope chakra I simply could not withstand the long-term consumption of Star Feathers. One slashed to death a few Kagaya clan iron-headed babies, and then Hoshiyu lifted Susanoo. Hitomi power cannot be exhausted, he also has to cast Huangquan then Ryasaka to leave. He couldn't hold on anymore and continued to attack. The 3rd generation of Mizukage looked excited when he saw Susanoo lifted. Fire Dragon Fire Art. A fire dragon was instantly released, and the fire dragon devoured several ninjas of the Mist-Hidden Village, before being blocked by the water of the 3 generations of Water Shadows. Kill him for me. The 3 generations of Mizukage roared angrily. Countless ninjutsu, kunai, and shuriken struck towards Xingyu together, and the overwhelming ninjutsu was very spectacular. I won't play with you guys. Hoshiyu used Huangquan Hirasaka to open the pitch-black space door and walked directly in. After Xingyu walked in, the space door disappeared, and their overwhelming ninjutsu hit the void, and did not hit Xingyu at all. Lord Mizukage, the enemy has disappeared. An elite shinobu next to him reported. The face of the 3 generations of Water Shadows is livid, this time the casualties in Wuin village are heavy, The key is that they have not left the other party, and they have been run away. I don't even know how the other party ran. Give me a search of the entire Wuing village. I don't believe that now that he can run out of the Wuing village, he will definitely find him for me. The 3 generations of water shadows roared angrily. The ninja lost this time. The preliminary estimate is more than 300. Susanu's destructive power is too great. If it were not for the 3 generations of water shadows to let the weak retreat, I am afraid that the casualties would be even greater. Moreover, among these more than 300 people, there are many upper ninja or even elite upper ninja, and this loss is also a great loss for the great shinobi village. The key is that so many people died, and even the other party's hair was not injured, and even let the other party take the Book of Seals away. The Book of Seals was taken away. That was the biggest loss, but it recorded many ninjutsu in the mist-hidden village. It's not good, it's on fire, hurry up and put out the fire. Suddenly, a ninja shouted. The angry 3 generations of water shadows came back to their senses, looked around, and saw the fire of Wuing village rising in all directions, but in an instant Mistine village was shrouded in flames. Needless to say, this is certainly a masterpiece of Starfeather. Looking at the fire-filled mist-hidden village, Xingyu's eyes did not have the slightest pity. The Vortex clan exterminated the clan, but there was a shadow of the Mistine village. How could Xingyu have pity on them? Time to go. What you want to get has already been obtained, the gas that should be out has also come out, and it's time to leave Wuing village. Using Huangquan Hirazaka, Hashiwa dashingly stepped into the space door and appeared directly in front of Kushina and Mikoto. It was still early in the morning, the sky had not yet fully lit up, and it was still a little dark. Kushina and Mikoto were still resting. The two of them made a tent, and Hoshiyu appeared directly in the tent. At the moment when Xingyu appeared, Kushina and Mikoto woke up instantly, and their hands immediately touched Ku Wu, and they looked towards Xingyu vigilantly. Yes, it seems that you are very vigilant. Xingyu is very satisfied with them, and it is necessary to be vigilant at all times outside. Xingyu, you're back. After seeing that it was Hoshiyu, Jiushernai immediately rushed towards Hoshiyu, and Mikoto also quickly got up and came to Hoshiyu. Xingyu, you are not injured, are you? Mikoto looked at Hashiha's body, wanting to see if Seiha was injured. Of course, I didn't get hurt, just the group of guys in Mist-Hidden Village. If they can touch my clothes, I can count me as losing. Hoshiyu cast a reassuring look at Mikoto, and Mist Shinobu never really broke through Hashiha Susanoo's defenses. How to hurt Hashiha? What's more, with the pupil technique of Heavenly Imperial Destiny, if you are really injured, Xingyu can instantly rewind your own time and recover from your injuries. Knowing that Xingyu was not injured, Kushina and Mikoto also relaxed their hearts, and then Kushina and Mikoto washed up and prepared to make breakfast. Because Xingyu said that he was a little hungry, they were busy preparing breakfast. Breakfast in the wilderness, of course, is barbecue. Hashiha goes to catch game, Mikoto prepares the materials, and Kushina is responsible for collecting firewood. Xingyu was still in the mood to eat here, but the mist on the other side was angry. When Xingyu was leaving, the fire set by the shadow doppelganger all over the mist-hidden village had been extinguished, but the loss was too great. The 3rd generation of Water Shadow personally took Mist Shinobu to look for the traces of Starfeather, but he had almost turned Mistine village upside down, and he did not find Starfeather. Xingyu has already left. What do they take to find Xingyu? 3 generations of Water Shadow Sama, what should we do? This matter must not be so calculated. The Fog Ninja were angry. One of their 5 great ninja villages was actually broken into, and hundreds of people were killed, countless houses were burned. The key is that the murderer still ran, and really couldn't afford to lose this person. With the anger of Mist Shinobu, if Xingyu was exposed, they would definitely die with Xingyu. The 3rd generation of Water Shadow is the angriest one at this time, as the reigning Water Shadow. Even the Book of Seals of Mist-Hidden Village has not been guarded. What face does he have? Originally, the eyes of the 3 generations of Water Shadows that had been squinting opened, and the eyes emitted an amazing cold light. Yes, the 3 generations of Water Shadows are squinting, and squinting eyes open, that means horror. Uchiha, Konoha. The 3 generations of Mizukage gritted their teeth. This matter must let Konoha village give an explanation, otherwise he and Konoha are not finished, and the Uchiha family is not finished. Hoshiyu said that he was Uchiha Madara, and of course the 3 generations of Mizukage would not really believe it, but it was certain that the other party was definitely a member of the Uchiha family. You go first to appease the villagers of Wuing village, I will handle this matter well. The 3rd generation of Mizukage said to the other Mist Shinobi. Then the eyes of the 3 generations of Mizukage flashed with a cold light, ready to send someone to Konoha to ask for an explanation. The kaleidoscope Sharingan of the Uchiha family would not be wrong, of course he had to ask Konoha for an explanation. Hashiha originally wanted to take Uchiha to back the pot, but the third generation of Mizukage did not believe that Uchiha Madara was still alive, and Konoha and the Uchiha family became the back pot. Episode 60. After breakfast, Hoshiyu took out the Book of Seals, as well as a seal scroll that he had taken with the Book of Seals. The Book of Seals and the sealing scroll, which cannot be opened casually, have sealing techniques set on them. If ordinary people get the Book of Seals, they can't see the ninjutsu inside, but Hoshiyu is different. He is a member of the Uzumaki Clan. Uzumaki Mido did not have the slightest stinginess in the sealing technique, and taught all of them to Hoshiyu. Sealing, solution. Rough sealing technique, Xingyu directly unraveled, and then opened the Book of Seals. On the Book of Seals, there are many records of water ninjutsu, basically most of which are water ninjutsu. This is? Kushina and Mikoto walked over, looked at the huge scroll in Hoshiha's hand, and asked Hoshiha. This is one of the gains I gained from going to Mistine Village, the Book of Seals of Mistine Village, but unfortunately, there is not much ninjutsu in it that I can see. Xingyu looked at it. The strongest ninjutsu in it was probably the ninjutsu of the second generation Water Shadow Ghost Lantern Phantom Moon. This ninjutsu is known as Infinite Blasting Ninjutsu, a doppelganger of the appearance of a child made of oil and water, which is fast, very flexible and can self-detonate indefinitely. The appearance of the child is made of oil, but the inside is actually water. Once the doppelganger begins to act, the oil on the surface will heat up sharply, and the water in the body will evaporate sharply, resulting in an explosion of water vapor. Then the avatar shrinks to its original appearance, and then affected by the water vapor explosion, the surrounding air floats high into the air to form hail, the hail falls, and the avatar absorbs it and can prepare for the next explosion again, an infinite cycle. However, such a powerful ninjutsu also has shortcomings, and after the spell, the caster itself will become weaker, which is the disadvantage of steaming danger. This is an S-class ninjutsu, and the second generation Tsuchikage has bandages wrapped around his whole body because when he fought with the second generation Water Shadow when he was young, his skin was burned by steaming steam. In addition to this ninjutsu, there is also the Water Iron Cannon art of the Ghost Lamp family, which is a B-grade ninjutsu, and the A-level ninjutsu Water Dun Waterfall art. At the same time, there is a terrifying illusion of the second generation of Water Shadow, Mirage, but unfortunately, this illusion needs to be used with Psychic Beast Mirage. Therefore, no matter how powerful this illusion is, it is useless to Xingyu. What's more, Xingyu can't look at this illusion at all. His illusion is even more powerful, kaleidoscope riding wheel eyes, plus the five senses domination. There are few illusions that can match him. Let's see if there are any ninjutsu to learn. Hoshiha glanced at it, then handed the Book of Seals to Kushina and Mikoto. In fact, Xingyu was a little disappointed. How could Mist Hidden Village be so rubbish? There was no ninjutsu that could make him look at it. Or his vision is too high. His gaze has been on the super S-level destructive ninjutsu, and ordinary ninjutsu really can't look at it. Let Kushina and Mikoto see for themselves, and Hoshiha is the seal that breaks the seal scroll. After breaking it, Xingyu finally knew what was inside. It was actually money. Xingyu counted, there were 1 billion taels. This money should be the appropriation of Wuing Village, but he didn't expect to be taken by him. It seems that there is no need to worry about money in the future. Xingyu smiled faintly. Compared to Xingyu's calmness, Jioshinai next to him even threw the Book of Seals aside, reaching out to hold a bunch of money. Jioshinai, I didn't expect you to be a small wealth fan. Xingyu said. All this money will be in my control in the future. Jioshinai sealed all the money back into the ninjutsu scroll, and then put it away himself. You must not give you money. I heard that men become bad when they have money, although you are not yet a man. Jioshinai's last words made Xingyu's heart pierced. What is he not a man? Well, now he's 10 years old and just a boy. I'm afraid Wuing Village is going crazy. Mikoto was a little worried. Hoshiha looked at Mikoto. He knew what Mikoto was worried about, and comforted Mikoto. Don't worry, Mikoto, no matter how the Wuing Village investigates, you will definitely not be able to find my head in a short time, and when the Wuing Village really knows, everything will be too late. No one would suspect that age was the natural barrier of Xingyu, not to mention that Xingyu deliberately used the transformation technique at that time, plus the double disguise of the mask. By the time the Wuing Village really knows the truth, everything will be too late, and by then Xingyu may already have the strength to push the Mistine Village. At that time, even if Wuing Village knew the truth, it could only swallow its anger, break its teeth, and swallow it into its stomach. Let's go to the main island of the Land of Water. Hoshiba said to Kushina and Mikoto. Shouldn't we leave the Land of Water now? Mikoto asked. The Book of Seals in Mist Hidden Village has been lost, and it will definitely not be easy to give up, and it is not very dangerous to continue in the Land of Water. It's not a pity to come to the country of water for a while, and we will take a stroll around the country of water to increase our knowledge. I agree with that. Joshinai immediately raised his hand in agreement. Seeing the worry in Mikoto's eyes, Hashiha smiled and said, Mikoto, don't worry, even if it is really discovered, I can run away with you. Huangquan Hirasaka can cross space regardless of distance, and you can do it directly back to Konoha from the land of water, but the consumption will be very large. By the way, are you going to learn the ninjutsu on this book of seals? Hashiba asked towards Kushina and Mikoto. I don't have a water attribute chakra, and the ninjutsu in this is basically water ninjutsu. Mikoto shook her head. In fact, Mikoto is also a genius, with the 3 chakra attributes of fire, wind, and thunder, and should actually have a hidden chakra. Although chakra's attributes can also be obtained through acquired cultivation, it takes too much time. In short, having many chakra attributes innately is obviously beneficial. I'll try to cultivate. Joshinai said. Joshinai's chakra attributes are wind, water, and yang, and it is okay to practice water, and Joshinai also looks at the ninjutsu of steaming danger and explosive power. This is S-class ninjutsu, and judging from Xingyu's use of the wind escape spiral shuriken, Joshinai already knows the horror of S-class ninjutsu. The powerful lethality and range of destruction, even on the battlefield, is absolutely terrifying. Ordinary ninja chakra is limited, even if you learn S-level ninjutsu, it can basically only be used as a killing move, but for Joshinai of the Uzumaki clan, Chakratos can release S-class ninjutsu infinitely. Of course, that was later, and although there are many chakras in Joshinai now, they are not outrageous. After Joshinai grows to the shadow level, chakra will definitely not be weaker than the tailed beast, even if it is not as good as the chakra of the 9 tails, but it can be comparable to the 8 tails. Hashiwa uses Hirasaka Huangazumi to take Kushina and Mikoto to the main island of Mizunoku, which is also the largest. Before I stayed on that small island, there was no one at all, but now when I come to the main island, I can already see people. It feels like the land of water is not as rich as the land of fire. Joshinai looked around and said. Looking at the dress of the surrounding houses, you can see that it is obviously a notch worse than the land of fire. In terms of wealth, none of the 5 great powers can compare with the Fire Nation, who makes the Fire Country strategically located.